You know that feeling, right? You walk into a room, a coffee shop, a party, whatever, and you just feel it. This invisible weight of people looking. You glance up and yep, someone's staring right at you.
And instantly your brain just goes into this high alert mode. What's going on? What are they looking at? It's such a universal feeling, and let's be honest, it is super uncomfortable.
And the thoughts just start racing, don't they? Is there something on my face? Is my hair weird? Oh no, they hate my outfit. It's this rapid-fire panic, and it's basically our brain's ancient defense mechanism kicking in, trying to figure out if we're being judged.
But here's the thing, the big secret that changes everything. The actual science behind why people stare is way less personal and honestly a lot more interesting than our anxious brains want us to believe. The key takeaway? It is almost never about you.
Okay, so let's get into it. And believe it or not, before we can even start to understand what's going on in their brains, we have to start with our own. Because this whole thing kicks off with a powerful little bias that puts us at the center of our own universe.
It's a phenomenon called the spotlight effect. I mean, think about it. We're the star of our own movie, right? We know every line, every flaw, every single detail. So we naturally assume that everyone else is watching our movie just as closely. But they're not. They're way too busy being the main character in their own movie. And look, this isn't just a fun theory, it has actually been proven. There was this famous and kind of hilarious experiment at Cornell where psychologists made students wear let's just call it a very bold and memorable Barry Manilow t-shirt into a room packed with other students.
Afterwards, these students were so embarrassed. They were asked to guess how many people noticed the shirt, and they estimated that at least half the room, 50%, saw it. But the reality? Oh, it wasn't even close. When the researchers asked the other observers, fewer than 20% even remembered the shirt at all. That spotlight we feel? It's mostly just in our own heads.
All right, so part one is that our own paranoia is usually running wild. Now, let's flip the script and get into their brain. Because a lot of the time, a stare isn't a judgment. It's more like a biological glitch, a simple calculation.
So your brain is all about efficiency. To save a ton of energy, it runs on a system called predictive coding. It basically just predicts reality based on everything it's seen before. As long as the world matches the prediction, it can just cruise along on autopilot.
But then, you walk in, and maybe you're wearing a bright yellow jacket in a sea of black coats. Suddenly, you've broken the pattern. Their brain flags this as a prediction error. It's like a little system alert goes off. The autopilot shuts down, and the eyes automatically lock onto you to gather more data. They're just trying to update their mental map of the world.
So you gotta remember this. You're not being judged as weird. You're just novel. You are an interesting new piece of data that their brain's algorithm needed to quickly process. It's a cognitive calculation, not a social one.
Now we get to my favorite reason. This is probably the most common, and honestly, the most comforting reason of all. It's a total game changer. Most of the time when someone is staring at you, they aren't actually looking at you. You just happen to be in the way of their daydream.
This all has to do with something called the default mode network. The easiest way to think about it is as your brain's screensaver. Seriously, when you're not focused on anything in particular, your brain kicks into this mode. It's where you mind wanders, replays conversations, worries about your to-do list, and when it's active, your actual visual processing power's way down.
And that's the huge disconnect, right? In your head, your fear is that they're laser-focused analyzing every little thing about you. But in their reality, their eyes are just pointed in your direction while their mind is a million miles away, wondering if they left the oven on or what they're going to have for dinner. You're just part of the blurry background.
Okay, so we've gone through the science, we've looked at the psychology, so what's the big takeaway? Let's pull this all together and arm ourselves with a totally new way of thinking the next time we feel like we're being watched. So let's do a super quick recap. The real reasons people stare. Number 1, your own spotlight effect is making you feel more watched than you really are. Number 2, you were just a bit of new data that caused a tiny glitch in their brain's predictive algorithm. And number 3, probably the most likely one, they're just zoned out, daydreaming right through you thanks to their default mode network.
The next time you catch someone staring, just try to remember this. That stare isn't a weapon. It's not an insult. It's just a sign that another complicated human brain is doing what brains do, glitching, processing, or just taking a little mental vacation.
So I want to leave you with this final thought, maybe a little experiment. Now that you know a stare is almost never personal, that it's just a biological glitch, what would happen if you responded not with anxiety, but just with a simple, confident smile?
You might just snap someone out of a daydream. Or who knows, you might even make a connection.
Please like and subscribe.